Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So my topic is about the local government code, decentralization, devolution, deconcentration, the local governance, and implementations of Mandanas-Garcia ruling. So this is under PE 802A, Theory and Practice. So the concepts of local government stated that the Local Government Code of the Philippines, also known as Republic Act number 7160, was enacted in 1991 and provides the legal framework for the autonomy of local government units in the Philippines. So we have here the key concepts of this local government code. We have the word decentralization, local autonomy, division of powers, participation of the people, the local legislation, and the term of office. So when we see decentralization, this is a way, in creating their own sources of revenue. So pinapayagan yung mga LGUs to create their own sources of revenue. And when we see local autonomy, it means that they are free to make decision, or the LGU is free to make decision or implement policies. So when we see local autonomy, the code guarantees the autonomy of LGU in the exercise of their function and responsibilities. This means that they are free to make decisions and implement policies within their jurisdiction without interference from the national government, subject to the limitation set by law. The third one concept is the division of powers. Division of powers, the code, the LGU, the code outlines the division of powers among the different levels of local government, which include the provinces, cities, and barangays. Each level of the government has its own set of powers, duties, and responsibilities. Another concept is that the participation of the people. The code encourages the participation of the people or its citizen in local governance. It provides mechanisms for people to participate in decision-making processes and to hold local officials accountable. So kasama po dito ang ating community. They have their task. And of course, the second to the last is local legislation. The code empower LGUs to enact ordinances and resolution for the welfare of their constituents. And these local laws are enacted by the Sangguniang Bayan o Sangguniang Panglalawigan, Sangguniang Panglungsod, Sangguniang Bayan, and Sangguniang Barangay for provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays respectively. And of course, the last one is the term of office. So lahat po ng mga elected na officials, ay meron lamang silang tenure or meron lang silang years in service. So they have 3 years in service and 3 consecutive. It's only 3 consecutive, maliban doon hindi na sila pwedeng tumakbo. Maybe pwede silang tumakbo sa other rank or other position, pero hindi na sila tatakbo doon sa mas same na position after the 3 consecutive terms. So in every term, so 3 years times 3, 9 years. So these are the key concepts of the local government code of the Philippines. And these are these concepts of the LGU is really has something to do with the local government units, from its making of this legislation and implementation of this legislation and creating their own sources of revenue in order for them to improve their economy. And of course, we have here the decentralization, devolution, and deconcentration. Ano ba yung decentralization na sinasabi? So, we have here the word transfer of authority. So, from the national, binababa doon sa LGU. Not only the authority but the responsibility and resources from central government to lower level. Yun yung tatawag na decentralization. Binibigyan ng kakayahan or otoridad yung local government natin, local government unit natin, kung saan mag-create sila ng ways on how to have these resources in order for them to improve their economic within the territory. And of course, devolution is the form of decentralization, where powers and responsibilities transferred from the central government to autonomous or semi-autonomous local governments. These local entities have the legal authority to make decisions and manage public services within their jurisdiction. The local government code of the Philippines is an example of devolution. So, yon, the power or responsibilities transferred from central government to autonomous region. Like the LGU, local government natin, meron na silang kakayahan. So, hinahayaan na mag-decide yung ating LGUs. Of course, subject to set of laws, no? Merong limitation. And of course, the third one is the deconcentration. So, deconcentration, this is another form of decentralization, devolution and deconcentration. But it involves shifting the workload from central government offices to their field offices. The central government retains the authority but distributes the administrative tasks to lower levels to improve efficiency and service delivery. So as we can notice, no, sa deconcentration, shifting of the workload, pinapasa lang from national papunta doon sa baba, no? But the decision maker pa rin is nandoon sa national. Okay? Yun lang. So as we can see, devolution and deconcentration are the two forms of decentralization, but they differ in terms of how powers and responsibilities are transferred from central government to lower levels of government. In devolution, powers and responsibilities are transferred from central government to local or regional government that are independent or semi-independent. These local governments have the legal authority to make decisions and manage public services within their jurisdiction. They can enact laws, raise their own revenue, and are directly accountable to their constituents. The central government has limited control over the actions and decisions of this local government, no? Kasi binigyan na sila ng authority, so separate na siya. Although, subject pa rin to limitation. While the deconcentration, on the other hand, is more administrative form of decentralization. In this case, the central government retains the authority. Yan, nandun pa rin sa central government yung otoridad, no? But the delegates certain administrative responsibilities to its local offices or agencies. Like for example, the Department of Agriculture, meron silang national offices, meron silang mga satellite offices. Yan, pinapasa lang dito sa baba. Dinidivide lang yung workload para mas napapadali yung trabaho. Unlike sa devolution, they have the authority. They have this power. That's all. And of course, the characteristics of decentralization, we have number one, ito yung pinaka main, no, characteristics of decentralization. The first one is transfer of powers and responsibilities. What does that mean? So when we see transfer of powers and responsibilities, the national government devolves major responsibilities and revenues to local governments, and this includes like planning, decision making, and administrative authority. Yun yung pinapasa from national lower doon sa LGUs, no, through decentralization, no. Then we have the word accountability. Accountability. Decentralization often leads to increased accountability as local governments are directly accountable to their constituents. This can lead to more responsive and efficient governance. No, may mga, of course, there is a responsibility, there is a kaakibat na na accountability when it comes to decision, when it comes to policy making. They have this accountability. And of course, we have local autonomy. The extent of decentralization is concerned to measure of local autonomy local governments have the power to make decisions with minimal interference from central authorities. So ayan, hinahayaan yung local government unit, no, na mag-create, no, mag-decide, no. Again, subject pa rin to limitation. Yun yung decentralization, local autonomy. Meron tayong pagkakilanlan, no, nagsarili, ganon. Then, of course, participation of civil society. The decentralization process in the Philippines encourages the rule of civil society. This involvement ensures that the needs and interests of the community are represented in local governance. So, yun ang purpose ng participation of civil society para mas napapadali din. Lalo na yung mga problem, no, na nakikita ng ating mga leader dito sa LGUs, mas napapadali bigyan ng solution when it comes to policy making. And of course, diversity. Decentralization allows for diversity in policy making. Different regions can adopt policies that are best suited to their specific needs and circumstances. Just like today, meron tayong mga gender, mga GAD, mga ganon, mga gender orientation, no, women empowerment, part po yan ng diversity. Yung mga disabled natin ng mga kababayan, no, binibigyan ng boses ng ating local government unit, no, part po sila doon because they are part of the society. The other one is economic growth and democratic processes. The decentralization program was initiated to strengthen democratic processes and enhance economic growth, and it aims to make governance more responsive and efficiently by bringing it closer to the people. That is one of the characteristics of decentralization for the purpose of economic growth through democratic process. And of course, the other one is the resource allocation. In many cases, decentralization involved the transfer of resources from the central government to local governments, and this can include financial resources as well as human and material resources. So, transfer of resources from central to local government. So, na-mention ko nga kanina, no, na hinahayaan na yung mga LGUs to create their own sources of income. Ang purpose nito is to boost the economy of each of the LGU. Next is improved service delivery. Decentralization can lead to improved public service delivery. Local governments are often better positioned to understand and respond to the needs of their communities. Kasi nga narito sila sa baba, like sa barangay, mas nakikita, no, hands-on. I mean, yung mga barangay captain natin, naroon mismo sila sa kanilang community. So nakikita nila ano ba yung needs ng kanilang constituents at napaparating yan doon sa municipal level hanggang sa provincial level. So nabibigyan ng solution, napapadali rin. And of course, political stability. By distributing power and resources more evenly, decentralization can contribute to political stability and prevent conflicts according to the characteristics of decentralization. And lastly, geographical necessity. Given that the Philippines is spread across a chain of islands, government services are highly decentralized. This allows for better administration and delivery of services across the diverse and geographically dispersed regions of the country. Yun na nga, ang realidad, no? We are islands, composition of islands. So, kung doon magsisimula sa national lahat, tatagal yung services. So, itong decentralization, mas napapadali to provide the basic needs, no? Through deliberation or delivery of public services in efficiently and effective manner. That's is the purpose of decentralization, and these are the characteristics of decentralization. So how are we going to improve public service delivery in decentralization? So number one is better understanding of local needs. Ayan. So local governments are often more familiar with the specific needs and priorities of their communities. This allows them to tailor services to meet these needs more effectively than a centralized authority might be able to. So, yun ang purpose. The second one is increased responsiveness. So, decentralization can make government more responsive. Local officials are directly accountable to their constituents, which can create a strong incentive to respond to their needs and concern promptly and effectively. Yun ang purpose ng number 2. And number 3, greater efficiency. By reducing the distance and layers of bureaucracy between the government and the people, decentralization can often lead to more efficient service delivery. Decision-making or decisions can be made and implemented more quickly, and resources can be allocated more effectively. Number 4 is increased innovation. Decentralization can foster innovation in public service delivery. Different local governments can experiment with different approaches and learn from each other's success and failures. No? Sabi nga doon na nabasa ko, a great leader daw is innovative. No? Ayan. So, through this, the great innovation is that kapag nagkakaroon ng more ideas ng ating mga local government officials for the purpose or for the welfare of our community. Number 5 is improve access. Siyempre, narito tayo sa baba, mas napapadali, no? Unlike before, ang hirap-hirap. So, kasali na doon yung mga pag-aayos ng mga roads, no, papunta sa mga interior barangay to provide, to deliver public services. Just like anong ginagawa ngayon ng ating governor, meron silang caravan, no? Every, I think, monthly ba yun? Pumupunta sila sa iba't ibang barangay para ibigay doon yung magkaroon ng access, no, na ang ating mga kababayan na sa mga malalayo, especially sa education, sa health, no? So, decentralization can also improve access to service. Services delivered by local governments are often physically closer to the people they serve, making them more accessible. No? Unlike before, na mas mahirap talaga. Number 6, enhanced participation. By involving local communities in decision-making processes, decentralization can also enhance public participation and engagement, which can lead to better outcomes in public service delivery. Kasama po ang community. No, sila po ang center of services, no? Sila po ang dapat bigyan, no, ng services. Kaya nga, no, enhance the participation of this community, the involvement of this community. And of course, resource allocation, no? Local governments often have a better understanding of where resources are most needed, allowing for more effective and efficient allocation. So paano? So, more on innovations, no, improve of the economic, no, like for example, magpapatayo, inviting mga investors para mas marami yung income, mas malaki yung income ng ating mga LGUs, no, para mas marami silang magawang proyekto that will benefited the society. The local governance and implementations of the Mandanas-Garcia ruling. We have here we have 5. The number one is that more equitable distribution of resources. Ito yung epekto ng Mandanas ruling or Mandanas-Garcia ruling. Nagkaroon ng more equitable distribution of resources. Sinabi dito, increased share of national taxes to LGUs. The ruling increases the share of national taxes that go to LGUs, which can lead to a more equitable distribution of resources across different regions and municipalities. This can help address disparities in funding and resources between different areas. Yun yung unang purpose talaga, no? The effect, no, of the implementation of this Mandanas ruling. The second one is empowering local government. So by providing LGUs with greater financial resources, the ruling empowers them to make independent decisions about how to allocate these resources. And this can enable them to invest in areas that are most needed, helping to address local inequalities. That is the second one. Yun yung kagandahan doon, no? Empowering local government. The third one is investment in local government. As I mentioned kanina, no, nagkikaya tayo ng mga investors. So, investment in local development. With increased financial resources, LGUs can invest more in local development projects. That also will help, no? Yung mga tao binibigyan, like masama gagawa ng building, yung mga tao binibigyan ng mga trabaho din at the same time. Ano po yung building magamit in the future, no? Na magamit din ng ating society. This can stimulate economic growth and development in regions and municipalities and that have been historically under-resourced, helping to reduce regional disparities. The number 4 is the improve of public services. So, napapa-improve, na-i-enhance o mas napapataas yung quality ng serbisyo na binibigay ng ating LGUs through this mandanas o napataas na nga. Improve public service. The additional funds can be used by LGUs to improve public services such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. As we can see, Katarman is maraming ginagawa ng mga building. Marami rin pinapatayong school. Iba't ibang barangay, meron silang pinapatayong school ngayon. That is part of improved public services. Improved services can contribute to reducing inequalities by ensuring that all citizens, regardless of where they live, have access to quality public service. Yun lang yung purpose, no? Pag na-improve yung ipapa-improve yung public services kung saan magbi-benefit yung ating community, no? Through education, health, infrastructure, ang dami pwedeng i-improve. And lastly, the fostering inclusive growth. So, the ruling can help foster inclusive growth by ensuring that the benefits of economic development are shared more equally across different regions and municipalities. However, it is important to note that while the Mandanas-Garcia ruling provides LGUs with greater financial resources, it's the responsibility of this local government to use these resources effectively and transparently to address inequalities and improve the lives of their constitution. Yun lang naman, yung reminder doon sa last. And of course, to summarize, the Mandanas-Garcia ruling is a landmark decision by the Supreme Court of the Philippines that has significant implication for local governance. It mandates the expansion of the income base for the computation of the national tax allocation for local government units to include not only revenue or internal revenue collection but also customs collections. This ruling increases the financial resources of local government units, promotes further decentralization, and has the potential to address inequality among different regions and municipalities. And lastly, it empowers local governments to make independent decisions about how to allocate these resources, enabling them to invest in areas that are most needed, helping to address local inequalities. In conclusion, the concepts of decentralization, devolution, and deconcentration play a crucial role in the distribution of powers or responsibilities in governance. They work towards transferring authority from central body to local or regional units, fostering greater autonomy, improve service delivery, and increase public participation at local level. Of course, I have the recommendation. Number 1, capacity building for the local government units, LGUs. Number 2, promote transparency and accountability. Siyempre. And number 3, strengthen public participation. Yun na nga yung kanina. Number 4, encourage innovation and service delivery. Kung innovative na, mas maganda pa kung mas bubunggahon pa. Number 5, address inequalities to make it equal. And monitor, evaluate the impacts of this policy made. So that's all for my report for today. Thank you for listening. I will be giving you the copy of the report. So maybe pumasok na pa ako. Magandang umaga po ma'am at magandang umaga po ulit classmates. Question and answer will be posted in our Google Classroom. Have a nice day po. Mabuhay.